I'm glad you found your way here, into the quiet, at the close of this long day. Right now, somewhere beneath your collarbone, a single nerve is quietly running the show, measuring your breath, your heartbeat, the tightness in your stomach, and deciding, second by second, whether you are safe enough to rest. You can be lying perfectly still in the dark, eyes closed, body heavy, and yet feel your mind keep one hand on the alarm, refusing to let go. That alarm has a switch. The strange part is that it sits inside you, within reach, the whole time. So why does calm so often feel like something you have to chase, instead of something you could simply turn on? Let your shoulders drop down from your ears, and slow your breath until the way out lasts longer than the way in. Welcome to Sleepy Science Facts. So let one quiet question travel inward with us tonight. The way back to peace may be a path your own body already knows. We tend to treat stillness as a mood we have to talk ourselves into, some effort of will laid on top of an exhausted mind. But underneath that idea sits something far more physical, a wire, un signal, a reflex you were born already carrying. Tonight, we follow it inward, from the sensations you can already feel to the quiet machinery beneath them. And we ask, gently and without hurry, how the body was built to settle itself all along. Right now, while you lie here trying to rest, a single nerve is quietly deciding how safe your body believes it is. It is called the vagus nerve, and it is the longest nerve of your autonomic system, wandering from your brainstem down through your chest and into your gut. The word vagus means wandering in Latin, and that name fits because it touches your heart, your lungs, and your stomach along the way. Underneath everything we explore tonight sits one quiet question. Is the calm you keep reaching for actually a feeling you must wait for, or is it a switch your own body already knows how to flip? You are not the only one who has lain awake wondering that. You have probably felt your heart race before you understood why. That speed is not a flaw in you. It is your nervous system running an ancient program, one that every human carries. Your autonomic nervous system has two branches that work like a pair of pedals. The sympathetic branch is the accelerator, readying you to act, to brace, to move. The parasympathetic branch is the brake, slowing your heart and softening your breath. The vagus nerve is the largest part of that braking system. When it speaks, your body listens. And the strange comfort here is that this brake was built into you long before you ever learned to worry. That restless, wired feeling you know so well, the sense of being exhausted yet unable to switch off, has a name in physiology. Researchers describe it as sympathetic dominance, a state where the accelerator stays pressed even when the danger is gone. Your muscles stay slightly tense. Your breath stays shallow and high in the chest. Your thoughts circle without landing. This is not weakness or failure on your part. It is simply a balance that has tilted, the way a seesaw rests heavy on one side. And what tilts can also be tilted back, gently, by the same nervous system that tipped it in the first place. Deep within your brainstem sits a small cluster of cells where much of the vagus begins, called the nucleus ambiguus. From this quiet origin, fibers reach outward to the heart, the lungs, and the throat, ready to carry the signal to slow. It is a modest patch of tissue, no larger than a grain, yet it helps hold the whole rhythm of your rest. The reassurance hidden here is simple. The machinery for peace is not somewhere you must travel to reach. It is built into the base of your own skull, waiting. Even now, as you lie here, that cluster of cells is quietly at its post. The vagus does not travel in a straight line. From the brainstem, it slips down alongside the great arteries of the neck, past the throat, and fans out across the chest before reaching the belly. Anatomists describe it as one of the 12 cranial nerves, yet it is the only one that strays so far from the head. Think of a river leaving a mountain and branching across a whole valley below. This long reach is why a single nerve can touch so many rooms of the body at once. Why one quiet pathway can hold heart and lung and gut together in a single conversation. About 4 out of every 5 fibers in the vagus nerve do something most people never expect. They do not carry orders downward from brain to body. They carry messages upward, from your organs to your brain. This is the afferent pathway, and it means your gut, your heart, and your lungs are constantly reporting their condition to your mind. Your brain is not the lonely commander you might imagine. It is more like a listener, taking in a quiet stream of news from the body. The way you feel tonight is partly your organs whispering, and your brain believing them. Because the vagus listens to the body can be used to change the mind. This is the heart of what we are circling tonight. You cannot simply order your racing thoughts to stop the way you might wish you could at 3 a.m. But you can change what your body reports upward. And the vagus, sensing calmer signals from your organs, carries word that the danger has passed. The mind, trusting the body, begins to follow. The old hope that you must fix your thoughts first, before you can rest, may have had the order reversed all along. And tonight, we let the body take the lead instead. Your organs are not scattered strangers to this nerve. They are all on its route. The vagus brushes the walls of the stomach, threads past the lungs, and lays a gentle hand on the heart, so that a change in one can ripple to the others. This is why a settling in your chest can loosen your belly, and why an easing in your gut can slow your pulse. They are not separate weather systems. They are rooms along a single hallway, and the vagus is the hallway itself. Tonight, as one part of you softens, the others are quietly informed, and they begin, in their own time, to follow. There is a reason calm can arrive faster than you expect, and it lives in how this nerve speaks. The vagus does not have to build its message over hours. Its signals can reach the heart and organs quickly, so that the shift toward rest can begin within a handful of slow breaths rather than a long wait. This is why peace is not always a slow climb. Sometimes it is more like a door swinging open. The machinery for it asks for nothing elaborate in return, only the smallest sign that the night around you is safe. Even now, the pathway is listening, ready to ease you the moment you let it. Here is something that may quietly begin to turn the question we opened. If calm is carried along a physical nerve, then it was never only a reward for getting your life in order. The same wiring runs in a monk and in a tired parent and in you, lying here now. None of us earned this pathway. We were simply given it. That does not yet tell us how to reach it, and much of the night still lies ahead of us. But it plants a small, stubborn possibility, one we will keep returning to. That the serenity you thought you had to deserve might be closer to a setting than a prize. The vagus does not work alone. It connects to a wider network, sometimes called the gut-brain axis, a two-way conversation between your digestive system and your mind. Roughly 500 million neurons line your gut, so many that some scientists call it a second brain. The vagus is the main cable linking the two. This is why anxiety can twist your stomach, and why a settled gut can ease a troubled mind. The unease you feel may not begin in your thoughts at all. Sometimes it rises quietly from below, from the belly upward, and sometimes, from that very same place below, it can also be gently soothed. The vagus is not a single wire, but a bundle of many, branching as it travels. Some fibers steer the heart, some reach the lungs, some sink deep into the walls of the intestines. Anatomists count its branches by the dozen sprechen, each peeling off to tend a different organ along the way. Picture one road leaving a city and dividing again and again into the smallest country lanes. This is how a lone nerve manages so much at once. The reach that lets it carry alarm through the whole body is the very same reach that lets it carry calm through all of it. When the time comes, when the vagus engages strongly, your body shifts into what researchers call the rest and digest state. Blood flow returns to your stomach and intestines. Saliva increases. Your heart slows and your pupils relax. This is the opposite of the fight or flight state that may keep you tense at night. You cannot truly be in both at once, and that is a gift. By inviting the rest and digest side forward, you naturally crowd out the alarm. The same body that can brace for danger is the very same body that can let go of it. And only one of those two doors can ever be open at a single time. The vagus reaches even into places you would never think to feel. Fine fibers touch the outer walls of the airways, the surface of the liver, the lining of the intestines, the pacing region of the heart. Most of what it does entirely without your notice, tending the quiet housekeeping of a living body. You are not usually aware of any of it, and that is exactly the point. This nerve was built to work beneath a tension, keeping the interior of you steady while your thoughts are elsewhere. The calm you are reaching for tonight is simply this hidden work, felt at last from the inside. There is a second, older layer to this nerve, and it explains an experience you may know. Alongside the branch that soothes you, the vagus carries a more ancient branch, one wired for extreme stillness. Some researchers, working within what is called polyvagal theory, propose that this older branch can pull the body into a heavy shutdown when threat feels too great. The theory is still debated and not fully settled, but the underlying anatomy is real. The vagus is not one simple thing. It holds more than one setting, and knowing that helps make sense of why the body can go quiet in more than one way. The vagus nerve helps regulate inflammation throughout your body, through what scientists call the inflammatory reflex. When the vagus senses rising inflammation, it can signal the immune system to ease its response, releasing acetylcholine that quiets overactive cells. This means your sense of calm is woven into your physical healing, not separate from it. The tension you carry and the inflammation in your body are speaking the same language through the same nerve. To soothe one is, in a quiet way, to soothe the other. So the rest you are sinking into tonight is not idleness, and it is not time lost. It is the very condition your body needs to begin mending. Consider how strange it is that one nerve reaches the throat, the heart, and the gut at once. Most nerves in the body serve a small, single territory. The vagus is the great exception, the one wire that spans nearly the whole interior below the neck. This is why the ancients who first dissected it were puzzled, and why they gave it the name for wandering. They could not follow where it went. What they were seeing, without knowing it, was the body's longest thread of communication. The pathway along which your organs and your brain have always been quietly keeping in touch. The connection between your gut and your vagus reaches even into chemistry. Around 90% of your body's serotonin, a molecule involved in mood and in the workings of the gut, is produced in the digestive tract, not the brain. This gut serotonin does its main work locally, helping move and regulate digestion. And it does not simply cross into the brain to lift your mood directly, but the state of a calm, well-tended gut is still reported upward along the vagus, and that steady inner news is part of how a settled body can quietly ease a restless mind. The vagus is wired into the very rhythm of your heartbeat, not as a metronome, but as a living pulse. Its fibers reach the heart's own pacemaker and rest a gentle, shifting pressure there. This is why a healthy heart does not tick with machine-like sameness. It breathes, in a sense, speeding and slowing in a subtle wave. That wave is the vagus at work, and its presence is a sign of a responsive, well-tended system. Tonight, somewhere beneath your ribs, that quiet pressure is being applied and released. Applied and released, like a hand gently rocking a cradle. Your nervous system carries this wiring from your very first days. The vagus is among the earliest nerves to form, already shaping the rhythm of the heart before birth. It is not a late addition you had to develop, but part of the original architecture of being alive. This means the capacity to settle was never something you missed learning. It was laid down before memory, before language, before worry. On the nights that calm felt foreign or out of reach, it had not gone anywhere. It was simply waiting beneath everything else, as it has been since the beginning, ready for the moment you stop overriding it. The vagus nerve plays a central role in something researchers call neuroception, a term from polyvagal theory describing the nervous system's constant, unconscious scanning for safety or threat. This idea is still being studied and is not fully settled science. But the underlying pattern is familiar to anyone. Long before your thinking mind decides whether you are safe, your body seems to have already judged the room, the sounds, the warmth of your bed. When those cues read as safe, the vagus relaxes its grip on alarm and lets you settle. The soft weight of your blanket, the dim light, the quiet, these are not small things. Gentle pressure and warmth can speak directly to your vagus. A warm bath, a heavy blanket, a hand resting on the chest. These create sensations the body reads as safety, easing the nervous system toward calm. This is partly why touch comforts us so deeply, and why being held can slow a racing heart. The vagus is listening to your skin as much as your thoughts. The comfort you may have dismissed as merely nice is doing real physiological work. The warmth around you tonight is not a distraction from rest. It is part of how your body finds its way down into it. Your facial muscles are wired into this same calming system. The vagus is part of a network that links the muscles of your face, your middle ear, and your throat, which is why a soft expression, a gentle voice, or a kind face can settle you without a word. When you feel your jaw unclench and your forehead smooth, that release is the vagus easing its companions. Even now, you might notice tension you did not know you held in the brow, the mouth, the eyes. Letting it go is not only relaxation. It is a signal traveling inward, telling the nerve that you are safe. The vagus and your sense of safety with others are deeply intertwined. Some researchers again within polyvagal theory, suggest this same nerve helps govern the calm that comes from feeling connected, from a soothing voice or trusted presence. The precise wiring is still debated, but the lived pattern is undeniable. Loneliness can feel physically unsettling, and even the memory of being cared for can slow the breath. You carry within you a nervous system shaped by every gentle moment you have known. The capacity to feel held does not vanish when you are alone. It waits in the same nerve, ready to be touched again. Everything we have gathered so far points back to where we began. We have traced the nerve itself, its long wandering path, its two directions, its many branches, its ancient layers. What we have not yet done is learn to work it. That is where tonight turns next. The map is drawn. The question that opened this hour is still open, but it has narrowed. If peace really does travel a physical road, then the task ahead is not to force it, but to find the signals that road was built to read. None of this asks you to try harder. It asks you to let the body lead. That wandering nerve we have followed, from your brainstem to your chest to your gut, is not a diagram tonight. It is alive in you right now, reading the slowness of your breath and the warmth around you, quietly weighing whether you are safe. The question we opened has begun to narrow under us. We have seen the road. Soon we will learn to walk it. Notice the long, soft exhale leaving you now, and feel how little it asks of you. There is nothing here to solve, nothing to earn. Let your shoulders settle a fraction lower. From here, we go gently deeper, letting the body keep leading. If these quiet hours have softened something in you tonight, you are welcome to stay a while longer. There is no rush to do anything with it. Should it ever feel right, letting this channel rest beside you on other restless nights is a small kindness you can offer yourself. For now, simply keep breathing slow and let the night carry you onward. Now that we have mapped the nerve, we can begin to work it. And the first lever is the one you already carry in your chest. Your breath is the most direct handle on the vagus that exists. When you breathe in, your heart subtly speeds. When you breathe out, the vagus engages and your heart slows. This is why a long, unhurried exhale is so quieting. You do not need special equipment or years of training. You have carried this tool since the day you were born. Tonight, with each breath leaving you a little slower, you are already reaching for the switch. The exhale is the secret lever, and there is a simple shape to using it. When you breathe out for longer than you breathe in, the whole system tilts toward rest, because the out-breath is the phase in which the vagus presses its brake. A count of 4 in and 6 out is often enough to begin. You are not forcing yourself to relax. You are simply giving the nerve the slow, even signal it was built to respond to A deep sigh feels like relief for exactly this reason. Your body was already reaching for the longer exhale without waiting to be told. Your voice is a second lever, and this is why sound can soothe. The vagus passes near the muscles of the throat, the larynx, and the soft palate. So when you hum, un chant, or sing a low note, the vibration travels along tissue the nerve can feel. This is part of why humming a quiet tune can loosen something in your chest, and why song has comforted humans in every culture for as long as we have had voices. The instrument was always inside you. A single low hum, felt in the throat, is one of the oldest and gentlest ways to tell your own nervous system that the danger has passed. Cold is a third lever, and one of the most reliable in all of biology. When cool water meets your face, especially around the eyes and forehead, your body triggers what is called the diving reflex. The vagus responds at once, slowing the heart and turning down the alarm. This ancient reflex evolved to conserve oxygen underwater, but it works just as well at a bathroom sink. A splash of cool water or a cool cloth laid across the face can interrupt a spiral of anxious thought in seconds. The body treats your face as a doorway, and the vagus stands just inside it, ready to help. The gut is a fourth lever, quieter than the others, but just as real. Because most of the vagal fibers run upward from the belly to the brain, the feeling in your stomach is not a metaphor. It is literal data, traveling a real wire. When your belly is tense and clenched, it sends signals of alarm to the mind. When it softens, it sends signals of safety. This is why letting the breath drop low into the abdomen can quiet anxious thoughts. You are not imagining the connection between a calm belly and a calm mind. You are using it deliberately as one more handle on wrist. Slow, rhythmic motion is a fifth lever, and it speaks the vagus nerve's language directly. A rocking chair, a swaying walk, the gentle bounce that quiets an infant, all engage the same calming circuitry. The nerve responds to predictable, repeating patterns because predictability is the body's oldest definition of safety. This is why a long, unhurried walk can untangle a knotted mind better than sitting still and trying to think your way out. Movement that asks nothing of you, that simply repeats, tells the nervous system that nothing here demands urgency. The body relaxes into the rhythm, and the mind, listening through the vagus, follows it down. Stillness and dim surroundings are a sixth lever, subtle but powerful. When the light is low, the room is quiet, and nothing demands a response. The nervous system reads these very conditions as permission to slow. This is why calm spaces ease you before you consciously notice anything. The conditions of night, the darkness, the hush, the absence of tasks, are exactly the cues the vagus is tuned to trust. You are not only resting in the dark tonight, you are handing the oldest part of your nervous system, the signals it has always taken, as safe, letting the setting itself do part of the work for you. Here is the part that begins to change the night. Every lever we have named, the breath, the voice, the cold, the belly, the motion, the quiet, works through the body, not the mind. Not one of them requires you to feel calm first. Because most vagal fibers run upward from body to brain, you can send the signal of safety from below and let it travel up on its own. This is why a long exhale can quiet a worried mind when no reassuring thought could. The question we opened is shifting again. Perhaps peace was never a mood you had to manufacture, but a message the body already knows how to send. These levers share a single chemistry, and knowing it makes them feel less like tricks. When the vagus engages, it releases a messenger called acetylcholine, and that molecule tells the heart to slow and the organs to ease. Whether you reach the nerve through breath or cold or a low hum, the final step is the same quiet chemical hand laid on the heart. This is why such different actions can produce the same softening. They are all doorways into one room. The body does not care which door you use. It only waits for the signal that lets that gentle messenger be released. There is a reason these levers can also be pulled from outside you, by another person, when a calm voice speaks nearby, when a warm face meets yours, when a steady presence sits close. Your body reads these as signals of safety, and the vagus loosens its guard. Isolation can feel physically draining for the same reason your nervous system was shaped over a very long time to settle in the presence of trusted others. Even the memory of being held, called to mind on a sleepless night, can begin to lower your heart rate. You are wired to be soothed, and you always have been. Not every lever needs your effort. Some the body pulls on its own. The spontaneous sigh is one every few minutes. Without your permission, the brain triggers a longer breath that reopens the small air sacs of the lungs and sends a wave of slowing to the heart. It is a built-in maintenance system for calm, running quietly beneath your awareness all day. Tonight, if a long breath escapes you on its own, you can simply let it. That is your nervous system, tending to you, asking nothing in return. You do not have to summon the sigh. You only have to allow it. Warmth and gentle weight are levers you can feel with your skin. A heavy blanket, a warm bath, a hand resting over the heart, all create sensations the body interprets as safety. The vagus reads pressure and warmth as evidence that you are held, and it eases the system in response. This is why comfort is not a luxury laid on top of rest, but part of the mechanism of rest itself. The blanket over you now is not merely pleasant. It is a slow, wordless message traveling inward, telling the nerve that here, in this bed, in this dark, there is nothing left to guard against. Some of these levers become easier to reach the more you use them. When you meet a difficult moment and then breathe yourself down, the pathway you traveled grows a little more familiar. Researchers describe the nervous system as capable of settling more readily when calm has been practiced before. This is quietly hopeful. It means the feeling of being unable to relax is not a fixed sentence. It is a path that has simply gone underwalked. Each slow night like this one lays the trail down a little clearer, so the body finds its own way back more easily the next time it is asked. The patterns of these levers were partly written before you could speak. In early life, a caregiver's calm voice, steady heartbeat, and warm presence helped tune the developing nervous system, teaching it how readily to find safety. This is called co-regulation, and it never fully ends. Throughout your whole life, a calm person nearby can lend their steadiness to your own system, the way one settled candle steadies the flame of another. If your nerve learned to stay on guard, that was a sensible response to what it met. And, because the nerve remains capable of learning, what was tuned one way can be gently retuned. So gather what these levers have been showing, piece by piece. The vagus responds to the exhale, to sound, to cold, to a soft belly, to gentle motion, to warmth, to quiet. None of these require you to feel calm first. Each is a physical doorway into peace, available no matter how loud the mind has been. The switch you have been reaching for is not a single button, but a whole panel of them, built into the body you are lying in right now. And here is the quiet truth, underneath it all. You were never broken for being unable to think your way to rest. You were simply looking in the wrong place. Notice that the racing has eased a little, the breath sitting lower than it did when we began. The same wandering nerve we have been tracing is at work in you this very moment, asking nothing, only waiting for the next slow exhale to carry the quiet further in. We have mapped the nerve and pulled its levers. Now we can watch what it leaves behind, the measurable traces of calm inside a living body. The first is a state, not a number. The parasympathetic mode, often called rest and digest. When the vagus carries its signal down to the heart, lungs, and digestive organs, telling each it is safe to slow, the body simply changes state. You do not think your way into it. You do not earn it through effort. When the right signal travels that cable, the whole system shifts, the way a long-held breath finally lets go, and the change is real enough to be seen from the outside. The clearest signature is written in the heart itself. When the vagus is active, it rests a steady, gentle pressure on the heart's natural pacemaker, slowing each beat. When that pressure eases, the heart quickens. When it returns, the heart settles. This constant give and take is why your pulse is never perfectly even. The unevenness is not a flaw. It is the visible sound of the brake working, adjusting moment by moment without asking your permission. A doctor watching your heart tonight would not see a machine. They would see a living rhythm, shaped breath by the quiet nerve we have been following. That unevenness has a name, and it is the most studied signature of all. Heart rate variability. It measures the small differences in time between one heartbeat and the next, and those differences widen when the vagus is engaged. Higher variability tends to travel with steadier moods, clearer focus, and an easier return to calm after stress. Lower variability often shadows exhaustion and long strain. The number itself is quiet and invisible, yet it offers an honest reading of how well your brake is working. Your body has been keeping this record all along. Even on the nights it felt like nothing at all was holding you. There is a specific rhythm behind that variability, and it ties the breath to the heart. As you inhale, vagal pressure on the heart loosens and the pulse rises. As you exhale, the pressure returns and the pulse falls. Scientists call this respiratory sinus arrhythmia, and despite the alarming name, it is a sign of health. The stronger and more visible the wave, the stronger your vagal brake tends to be. Doctors sometimes watch it fade under chronic stress and return as a body heals. Tonight, beneath your ribs, your heart is likely tracing this wave, speeding with each breath in, easing with each breath out. This signature has a resonant speed, a pace at which it shows most clearly. For most adults, around 5 or 6 breaths per minute brings the breath into step with the natural waves of blood pressure. At that pace, heart rate variability tends to swing widest, and the vagus appears most engaged. It feels less like forcing calm and more like discovering a frequency the body already prefers. The wakeful mind that cannot stop is not broken. It has simply been breathing too fast to find the gear that lets it rest. And that gear leaves a clear signature the moment the breath slows enough to reach it. The chemical signature is acetylcholine, the messenger the vagus releases at its endings. When it reaches the heart's pacemaker cells, it tells them to fire less often, and the rate can drop within a single heartbeat. The same molecule relaxes the airways and stirs the slow work of digestion. Because chemistry can act this fast, a calm signal does not have to build for hours. It can land in seconds, and it leaves a real mark in the tissue it touches. This is the physical proof beneath the feeling. The peace you sense is not only a mood, it is a molecule doing measurable work inside you. There is a signature you can hear as well as measure. The vagus reaches a small muscle deep in the ear, tuning it towards certain sounds. Low, steady, gentle tones cue the body towards safety, while harsh or sudden noise cues alarm. This is part of why a calm voice or soft, quiet can ease your shoulders before you have decided anything. The nervous system reads the world for danger constantly, beneath thought, and answers with either tension or release. The calm you feel right now, in this stillness, is one of those answers. Your vagus quietly reporting that, for now, you are safe. There is a deeper loop behind all these signatures, and it explains why they are so trustworthy. Because the vagus carries far more traffic up to the brain than down from it. The body is constantly informing the mind about its own state. A slowed heart and an unclenched gut send word upward that the danger has passed. And the brain, receiving that report, lowers its guard in turn. Every signature we have named is part of this conversation. Evidence traveling from body to mind. Calm, then, is not a command from above. It is a dialogue. And tonight, the body is quietly speaking its half. Even connection leaves a visible signature. The vagus links to the muscles of expression and the small structures that let you meet another person's gaze and tone. A warm look, a kind voice, a sense of being received, all register through this pathway, and the body relaxes its defenses in response, slowing measurably. This is why comfort can lower a racing heart faster than reason ever could. For a creature like you, safety has always meant not being alone, and the softening it produces is not imagined. It shows up in the same slow rhythms every other signature is written in. Here is what these signatures have quietly been showing. The peace you longed for is not invisible or unprovable. It is written in the spacing of your heartbeats, in the wave that couples breath to pulse, in a single molecule laid on the pacemaker, in the softening of a face that feels received. It is a physical state your body is built to enter, and it leaves a real record when it does. The exhaustion that could not stop was not weakness. It was a break that had gone too long unused. Tonight you are learning not only where it lives, but how to see, in your own body, that it is working. You just heard that calm is not invisible, that your slowed heart writes an honest record your mind can trust. Notice that you do not have to convince yourself of anything. Your breath has been lengthening on its own, and somewhere beneath your awareness, that long cable is carrying word that all is well. If part of you still braces, as though peace had to be earned before it was allowed, let that bracing soften. There is nothing here to finish. Let the next slow exhale pull the brake a little further, and we sink deeper into what your body already knows how to do. The vagus does not act alone. It works against a partner system that, in many people, is running far too often. Your sympathetic branch handles speed and alertness, while the vagus handles slowing and recovery. The two are meant to trade off, like a hand opening and closing. But when alarm becomes a habit, the closing hand forgets how to relax. Researchers studying heart rate variability find that people under chronic stress show a quieter vagus and a louder alarm system, even while lying still. So the switch you are learning about is less a button to press and more a balance to restore, a leaning back toward the side that was always there. There is a measurable trait called vagal tone, and it predicts more than relaxation. People with higher vagal tone tend to recover from stress faster, regulate emotion more smoothly, and even connect with others more easily. It is read through the subtle changes in time between heartbeats. The encouraging part is that vagal tone is not fixed at birth. Practices that gently and repeatedly engage the nerve appear to raise it over weeks. The biological switch is also a kind of muscle, one that grows stronger the more it is used. What feels like an unchangeable temperament is, in part, a trainable rhythm, and rhythms can be retrained. The vagus helps decide how quickly you recover after a hard moment. Following a spike of stress, a well-toned vagus pulls the heart and breath down within minutes, while a sluggish one lets the alarm linger. Scientists call this vagal rebound, and it tracks closely with emotional resilience. Two people can face the same difficult hour, yet one returns to calm and the other stays braced for the rest of the night. The difference often lives in this nerve, in how fast it can step forward once the danger, real or imagined, has gone. Resilience, it turns out, is partly a matter of how quick the brake is to answer. The vagus weakens when it is starved of recovery, and this explains a familiar trap. A body kept in constant alertness, too little sleep, no pause, endless vigilance, shows lower vagal tone over time, which makes it even harder to relax, which deepens the strain. The brake wears thin from never being used, but the same research shows it recovers. With regular rest, slow days, and gentle care, vagal tone climbs back. The exhaustion that cannot stop is not a permanent state. It is a worn switch, and switches like this one are made to be restored, given time and given the chance to rest. There is a slower, older branch of the vagus that activates under extreme overwhelm, when stress becomes too great to fight or flee. Some researchers, within the still debated framework of polyvagal theory, propose that this branch can pull the body into a kind of shutdown, a heavy stillness, a sense of numb collapse. Whatever the final science, the experience is real and worth naming. That feeling of being unable to move, of being flattened by the day, is not a character flaw. It appears to be the nervous system reaching for an old form of protection. Knowing it has a name is the first step to gently coaxing it back toward ease. The vagus can also be pushed too far in the other direction, and this makes its power vivid. In rare moments of extreme stress or shock, the nerve can fire so strongly that blood pressure drops and a person faints. A vagal response gone to its extreme. This is the same brake that calms you, pressed all the way to the floor. It shows that the nerve is not a vague idea, but a real and forceful controller of the body. The system you are learning to coax toward peace is the same system that can, in a sudden instant, take the whole body offline. Its gentleness and its force are one. Your vagal tone dips and rises across the day in a natural rhythm, and it tends to strengthen as night approaches. As darkness signals the body towards sleep, vagal activity climbs, the heart eases, and the system tilts toward repair. This is the body's own preparation for rest, written into a daily cycle, older than any clock. When you lie down at night and feel the day's tension begin to thin, you are feeling this rise. The switch is not only something you press. At this hour, it is already leaning your way, asking only that you stop pushing against it and let the natural tide come in. The vagus links breath, heart, gut, and immune system into a single conversation, which is why steadying one part can settle them all. A quieted heart signals safety. The signal of safety quiets inflammation and eases the gut. The eased gut sends its own calm upward. The branches of one nerve carry the message everywhere at once. This is why a few minutes of settling can change how your whole body feels, not just your mind. You are not soothing a single organ. You are speaking to a network through the one line that reaches all of it, and the network answers together, in its own unhurried time. The same nerve that calms you also quiets inflammation, and under strain that quieting falters. Through the inflammatory reflex, the vagus signals immune cells to lower their output of inflammatory chemicals. When vagal activity is strong, the body's background fire burns lower. Chronic stress keeps that calming hand lifted away, leaving the body inflamed and tired. Researchers have even tested vagus nerve stimulation in conditions driven by inflammation, with measurable effects. So restoring the nerve is not only about mood, it reaches into tissue and chemistry, telling an overheated system that the threat has passed and it can finally stand down. Movement, especially slow and rhythmic movement, helps rebuild the nerve over time. Gentle walking, stretching, and unhurried exercise raise vagal tone across weeks, while the body learns that motion does not always mean threat. Even a long, slow stroll shifts the balance toward recovery afterward. This matters for a mind that braces even at rest, because it offers another way back in, through the body in motion, rather than the body held still. Retraining the switch is not only a matter of lying quietly, it is also the steady, unhurried rhythm of a body that has learned, again, that it has time. Repeated calm experiences strengthen the pathway so that future calm becomes easier to find. Each time you settle or feel steadied by a kind presence, the nerve's response grows a little more practiced. Scientists see this as the nervous system learning. Peace, then, is not only a state, but a skill the body builds quietly over time. The hours you spend like this one are not lost to mere rest. They are teaching the switch where the path lies, so that it returns to it more readily tomorrow. What was hard to reach tonight will, with practice, become a road the body remembers on its own. Part of retraining the vagus is undoing an old habit of vigilance. A nervous system that learned, long ago, to stay on guard is not defective. It is doing exactly what it was taught. But teaching can be gentle and slow. Each night that ends in genuine rest offers the system a small piece of new evidence that safety is possible, that the guard can be lowered without harm. Over many such nights, the balance shifts. You are not fighting your own biology when you rest. You are patiently offering it a newer, kinder lesson than the one it first learned to survive. The vagus and your sense of safety are so tightly linked that the body reads certain conditions as trustworthy without any decision from you. Predictability, gentleness, the steady return of the same soothing routine, all tell the nerve that the environment can be relied upon. This is why a consistent wind-down helps you sleep more than any single trick. You are not merely forming a habit. You are teaching the oldest part of your nervous system that this hour, this place, this rhythm is safe, so that over time it begins to soften on its own the moment the familiar cues arrive. The same nerve that calms you also runs the quiet housekeeping of being alive, and appreciating this changes how you see rest. Without a single conscious command, the vagus helps your stomach digest, your heart pace itself, your lungs find their rhythm. The peace you are reaching for is not separate from this work. It is the felt edge of a system that has been keeping you steady all along, beneath awareness. You are not asking the body to learn something wholly new tonight. You are noticing, perhaps for the first time in a while, how much it already does, faithfully, on its own. Beneath everything tonight runs a quiet shift in the question we began with. You may have hoped to hack the longest nerve in the body and force the mind into peace. But the evidence keeps pointing somewhere softer, toward a nerve already built, to carry you back to calm, waiting only for the right signal. The peace was never something to seize by force. It begins to look like something the body knows how to do, and has always known, if you stop overriding it long enough to let it answer in its own way and its own time. Across cultures and centuries, the practices that calm people most reliably, slow breath, low chanting, cold water, quiet company, all turn out to reach the same nerve. People discovered these methods long before anyone could name the vagus. They simply noticed what worked and passed it down. What science has done is reveal the shared wiring underneath, the single pathway all those traditions were quietly touching. The calm a monk finds and the calm you find travel the same biological line. Every settled mind, across every age, has been using the same ancient switch, whether or not it had a name for it. The vagus, for all its power, cannot be forced, and this turns out to be the heart of how it works. Strain to relax, and the alarm system answers instead. The nerve responds to signals of safety, not to effort, so it yields most when you stop pressing. Researchers describe relaxation as a release rather than an achievement. This is why the harder you try to calm down, the further calm retreats. The switch does not open under pressure. It opens when the pressure is set down. When, at last, you let the trying go and allow the body to do what it has quietly been ready to do. There is a tenderness in how this system treats the past. No matter how many sleepless nights came before, the vagus does not withhold its calm because you were anxious yesterday or wired the night before. It responds to this breath, this moment, this single slow exhale, with no memory of what came before. Each night is a clean offer of rest. Whatever happened in the hours behind you, the break is ready now. This is part of what makes retraining possible at all. The body does not punish you for the state it was in. It simply meets you where you are. The vagus you can strengthen is the same one that will carry you into aging. Studies find that people who keep their vagal tone higher through rest, movement, and steadiness tend to weather stress better across the years. The nerve is not only about tonight's sleep. It is a long companion, one whose care compounds quietly over a life. So the slow breathing and genuine rest you practice now are not small. They are deposits in a system that will keep serving you long after this night, tending your heart and your calm across many more to come. Retraining this nerve asks less of you than almost anything else you have tried. It does not require the right thought, a perfect day, or a silent house. It asks mainly that you stop overriding it, that you give it enough genuine rest to recover its strength. Every other path to calm you attempted, the reasoning, the bargaining, the forcing, demanded effort you did not have. This one asks the opposite. It asks you to set the effort down. The work of restoring the switch is, strangely, the work of doing less, and you have already begun simply by lying here. The nervous system you are retraining is more forgiving than you may believe. It does not need years to show any change. Even a few nights of true rest can begin to shift the balance. Researchers see vagal tone respond to consistent, gentle practice within weeks. This means the road back is not impossibly long. The exhaustion that felt permanent is often just a system that has not yet been given the chance to recover. Given that chance, night after night, it does. You are not starting an endless climb. You are beginning a return. The body already knows how to make. There is a reason rest, once begun, tends to deepen on its own. As the vagus engages and the heart slows, and the sense of safety it reports upward, makes further calm easier still, which engages the nerve more, which deepens the calm. It is a gentle spiral, the opposite of the anxious one you may know too well. Once the body tips past a certain point of ease, it begins to carry itself. This is why the hardest part of rest is often only the beginning. Past that first softening, the system takes over, and the calm starts to gather its own quiet momentum. What you are learning to do tonight, the body was always meant to do without instruction. Infants fall into deep rest with no technique at all. The vagus simply does its work. Somewhere along the way, under years of strain and vigilance, that effortlessness gets buried. Retraining is not learning a new skill so much as uncovering an old one. You are not building the capacity for peace from nothing. You are clearing away what covered it, returning to a way of resting that was native to you before the world taught you to keep one hand on the alarm. The vagus responds best when you ask nothing of the outcome. Chase a specific result, a certain heart rate, a particular feeling, and the striving itself keeps the alarm faintly lit. Let go of the goal, and the nerve settles most fully. This is the quiet paradox at the center of it all. The calm arrives when you stop needing it to attend abroad. Researchers find that acceptance eases the body where effort tightens it. So tonight, there is nothing to achieve, nothing to measure, no state you must reach. There is only this breath, and the next, and a body allowed to find its own way down. Here is what the night has been showing, piece by piece. The peace you have been chasing was never a thing to capture or hack by sheer will. Your body holds a pathway built across a very long time for exactly this, to carry you out of alarm and back into rest, the moment it is given the chance. The vagus is not a switch you flip from outside yourself. It is the body's own intelligence for returning to calm, already wired in, already willing, waiting not for force but for permission. Peace, in the end, is not something you produce. It is something you allow. You just heard that this nerve cannot be forced, only allowed, that it opens when the pressing stops. Feel that, for a moment, somewhere beneath your ribs, the slowing is already underway, the heart easing between beats without a single instruction from you. There is nothing here to switch on. The pathway that carries you toward rest has been running quietly all along, the way the tide returns without being called. You were never the one who had to manufacture this calm. You can stop holding the effort now, the way a hand finally uncurls. Let the long exhale go, and let the body do what it has always known how to do. What we have been circling all this hour is very near. The calm you can enter tonight is not borrowed from anyone. It rises from a system that has maintained you since before you were born. The capacity for peace is not a skill you failed to learn. It is original equipment, as much a part of you as your pulse. On the nights it felt out of reach, it had not gone anywhere. It was only obscured, the way a star is not gone in daylight, merely outshone. Now, in the dark and the quiet, it can be seen again, steady where it always was. You share this quiet capacity with nearly every creature that has ever rested. The nerve that eases you tonight eases the sleeping deer, the drifting whale, the bird tucked under its wing. Rest is not a modern luxury you must justify. It is one of the oldest patterns life knows, and your body has always belonged to it. When you let yourself settle now, you are not indulging. You are joining something vast and ancient, a stillness that has moved through living things since long before there was anyone awake to worry about deserving it. Your heart and your breath are quietly folding into one rhythm as you lie here. Over minutes, the two patterns settle into a single gentle wave, moving as one. You do not have to arrange it. The body assembles its own calm when you stop interrupting it. There is a kind of relief in that, in knowing the coordination is not your job. Something older and wiser than your effort is doing the work. All that is asked of you is to stop getting in its way, and even that, tonight, is beginning to happen on its own. The same calm that settles you also lets your body repair itself overnight. When the system quiets into rest, tissues mend, and the slow nightly maintenance resumes. Stress recedes, and in its absence, the body turns to healing. This is why deep rest leaves you not only calmer, but physically restored. The peace you reach for is not an escape from your life. It is the condition under which your body fixes what the day wore down. To rest is not to abandon your responsibilities. It is to let the most fundamental one, the keeping of yourself, finally proceed. The feeling of being wired and tired at once was never a personal failing. It was a system stuck in one gear. The accelerator pressed while the brake had gone slack. Understanding this dissolves the shame in it. You were not lazy for being exhausted, nor weak for being unable to stop. You were carrying a nervous system that had forgotten how to shift. The way out was never more force. It was the slow re-engaging of the part of you built to rest, which is happening gently, right now, without any struggle on your part. So much of sleeplessness is a body that keeps answering one question with no. Am I safe right now, beneath all your thoughts? The nervous system asks it continuously, and when it cannot find enough evidence, it keeps the alarm lit. Tonight, you have been offering it a different answer. The slow breath, the soft belly, the quiet room, these are honest evidence that the threat is not here. Bit by bit, the answer has been turning toward yes. And as it does, the guarding you did not even know you were doing begins, at last, to loosen. Your body listens for safety in the faces and voices it has known, and it always has. Tucked within you is a capacity to recognize warmth, to feel, even in memory, the presence of someone who once made you feel held. A soft voice, an unhurried tone, the imagined nearness of a person who steadied you can lower your heart. The signal it longs for is simple. And tonight, in this quiet, you can offer that signal to yourself, speaking to your own body as gently as anyone ever spoke to you. There is something almost tender in how forgiving your body is. It does not hold a grudge for the years you stayed on guard, nor demand proof that you have earned this rest. The moment you soften, it responds. The calm you longed for is not a reward withheld until you are good enough. It is a homecoming your body offers freely, again and again, to anyone willing to stop and receive it. You do not have to become someone better before you are allowed to rest. You only have to let yourself, now, as you are. The boundary between calm and connection is thinner than it seems. Being soothed and feeling close are nearly the same sensation in the body, which is why a held hand can slow a racing pulse, and why solitude in distress can feel so heavy. You were never meant to find peace entirely alone, and the relief of being received is not weakness. It is how you were made. Even now, alone in the dark, you can extend that same receivedness inward, letting the kindest part of you keep company with the most tired part. You cannot usually argue yourself calm, but you can settle yourself there. As the body keeps reporting safety upward, the vigilant mind is not silenced by force. It is gently outvoted. This is why reason so often fails at 3 a.m, and why the body succeeds where the mind could not. Beneath the thinking, there is a slower, surer way of speaking, one that does not use words at all. Tonight, you have been letting the body make that argument for you, and the wakeful mind, hearing it, is beginning to concede. Notice that you have grown calmer over this hour without deciding to. You did not solve anything. You did not win an argument with your own mind. You simply gave the body the signals it was waiting for, and the rest followed. The heart lowering, the chest loosening, the breath dropping low. This is how the switch was always meant to work. Not through willpower, but through permission. The peace arrived the way sleep does, by being allowed rather than achieved. You were not the one doing it. You were the one, at last, getting out of the way. What feels most private to you is, in truth, deeply shared. Every human being lying awake tonight carries the same wiring, the same quiet longing for the alarm to finally go silent. The struggle you have known in the dark is not a sign that something is uniquely wrong with you. It is one of the most common experiences a person can have, written into the biology we all carry. The very thing that made you feel alone at 3 a.m. is the thing that joins you, quietly, to nearly everyone else who has ever lain awake. The body keeps no ledger of the days you fell short. It responds to this breath, this moment, this single slow exhale, with no memory of yesterday's anxiety or last night's strain. Each night is a clean offer of rest. Peace is not earned across a lifetime of good behavior. It is given again and again to anyone willing to breathe out slowly and stop fighting. Whatever you carried into this room tonight, you do not have to carry it into sleep. The slate is clean, and the rest is offered freely, exactly as you are. The same calm that settles you can ripple outward to others. A person who has found their own steadiness lends it to those nearby, the way one settled heartbeat can slow a restless one in the same room. Researchers see hearts and breaths fall into rhythm between people who feel safe together. So the peace you reach tonight is never only yours. To calm yourself is, in the gentlest way, to bring a little calm to the world, to become, for the people you love, one more steady presence they can settle beside. Here is what the whole night has been gathering toward. Inner peace was never a feeling you had to summon by trying harder, nor a reward for being calm enough to deserve it. It is a physical state your body is built to enter, governed by a single ancient nerve that answers to your breath and to the simple truth that you are safe. The switch you have been chasing was inside you the entire time. The exhaustion that could not stop was never a flaw. It was a brake, long unused. And tonight, quietly, it has begun to hold. The relief you feel tonight is not your imagination softening the facts. It is your body changing. As the calming system engages, the flow of stress chemistry begins to ease, and the body tilts toward repair. The heaviness in your limbs, the loosening behind your eyes, the slowing of your thoughts, these are the signs of an invisible shift. You are not pretending to be calm. You are measurably becoming so, and the biology is on your side, working with you rather than against you, for perhaps the first time in a long while. The system that quiets you tonight will keep working long after you have fallen asleep. Through the deepest hours, it holds the heart slow and steady, lets the breath find its own gentle pace, and oversees the body's nightly repair without any help from you. You do not have to stay awake to guard the calm. You do not have to manage your own rest. There is nothing left for you to hold. The night will hold you instead, faithfully, through every hour, asking nothing, keeping watch over the stillness you have finally let yourself enter. Consider how little this peace asks of you. It does not require the right thoughts, a quiet house, or a day well spent. It asks only for a slow breath out, and even that the body will do on its own if you let it. Every other path to calm you have tried. The reasoning, the bargaining, the forcing, asked for effort you did not have. This one asks the opposite. It asks you to stop. And you are already doing it, simply by lying here and letting the breath grow long, needing nothing more than this. You are not and never were. Uniquely broken. Every longing you brought here tonight. For quiet. For stillness. For the alarm to switch off. Is a longing shared by countless others in the same dark. The struggle is not proof of a flaw in you. It is proof only that you are human, carrying a nervous system shaped for a world that rarely lets it rest. There is relief in that recognition. You do not have to fix some private defect. You have only to let a very common, very ordinary body do what all such bodies can. Whatever happened in the hours behind you, the calm is ready now. It does not withhold itself because you were anxious earlier or wired the night before. It meets you in the present, with no memory and no grudge. This breath, this moment, this slow exhale is a fresh beginning. Your body is fully willing to accept. You do not have to make up for anything first. The offer of rest stands open, exactly as it always has, waiting only for you to stop refusing it and let yourself, finally, step through. Notice how far the softening has already traveled. The chest that was tight has loosened. The breath that was high has dropped low. The thoughts that raced have begun to slow and spread apart. None of this came from effort. It came from permission, from letting the body lead where the mind could not bead. This is the whole lesson of the night. Arriving now, not as an idea, but as a felt fact in your own limbs. The peace was real and reachable, and it was reached quietly, while you simply allowed it. Your heartbeat right now is slower than when this hour began, and that is the most honest measure of what has happened. Not a thought, not a mood, but a physical fact written in the spacing between beats. The calming system has been steadily at work, widening the small pauses your heart takes between one beat and the next. You can sometimes feel it, a softening in the chest, a settling behind the ribs. The peace is no longer theoretical. It is happening in you, right now, in the quiet machinery of your own body. The deepest rest is not absence, but a kind of quiet activity. As you drift now, the calming system keeps a steady hand on the heart. The breath slows to its lowest gear, and the body moves into the repair it can only do when it feels safe. Far from being empty, this stillness is among the most restoring states your body knows. So there is no need to resist the heaviness gathering in your limbs. It is not a loss of anything. It is your system finally receiving the safety it has been asking for all along. Everything you have learned tonight comes down to a single, gentle reversal. You spent so long trying to think your way to peace, when peace was always a thing of the body, reachable through the breath, the throat, the belly, the warmth of feeling safe. The mind was never going to win that fight, and it did not have to. The way in was lower, quieter, closer than thought. Now that you know where the switch lives, you will never again be entirely without it. On any night, the dark grows long. You do not have to earn the rest that is already moving through you. The body you fought to quiet was, all along, the one thing that knew the way back to peace. There is nothing left to switch on, nothing left to chase. The signal has traveled. The brake is holding. And underneath the worry that kept you awake, a far older truth was always waiting. You are safe. You are held. And you were never the one who had to keep yourself calm. Let that be the last thing the mind holds tonight, as the body carries you down. The way back to peace turned out to be a single wandering nerve, tracing a path from your brainstem down through every quiet organ of your body. We mapped it first, the long road and its many branches, then learned its levers, the slow exhale and the low hum and the softened belly, and finally read the honest signatures it leaves in the spacing of your heartbeats. What began as a question about why peace felt so far away became something simpler. The switch was never missing. It was only waiting to be found in the body, beneath all the trying. You came here wondering how to force your mind to be still, and you leave, knowing you never had to force anything at all. The calm was a homecoming your body offered freely, the moment you stopped chasing it. If tracing this quiet nerve tonight loosens something in your chest, you might let this channel keep you company on the nights the mind won't slow. A gentle follow means another hour like this can find you when you need it, and it helps these slow, science-quieted nights reach others lying awake in the dark, still searching for their own way down. Picture that single thread running through you, from the base of your skull, down past your heart, and into the stillness of your belly, carrying nothing now but quiet. Feel the slow work already underway beneath your awareness. The heart easing, the breath dropping low, the tension of the day dissolving. Let your whole body soften into that long, wandering path of calm, the way water settles when nothing more disturbs it. There was never a switch you had to throw by force. The peace was always meant to move through you like this, on its own. And so the breath grows longer than the thought, each slow exhale carrying you further down the quiet path you found tonight. Let the out-breath lengthen one last time, and feel the gentle break take hold, your heart slowing without a single instruction from you. The body knows the way from here. The same nerve that brought you this far will hold you through the dark, keeping the calm long after you have let go of it. This channel will keep watch over these still hours, and another quiet night will be waiting whenever you return to it. Stay where you are, weary one. You were never the one who had to keep yourself safe. Let the body hold you now, the way it always knew how. Rest easy, and let science carry you gently into sleep. Good night.